Hello aspirants, welcome to Vishma AS Academy. We are just resuming our online classes from General Science Biology, and the topic is tissue classification and morphology in plants. So the subtopic is classification of plant tissues. Plant tissues can be divided into two groups, one type of cells and more than one type of cells. One type of cells is called as parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So again, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, those are one type of cells, and more than one type of cells are xylem and phloem. Another categorization divides plant tissues into meristematic, that is immature cells that are continuously dividing, and permanent, those are mature cells. So immature cells are peristematic and mature cells having special functions are permanent. These are the characterization divides in plant tissues. The plant cells are organized into three systems. The first one is dermal tissue system. As the name mentions itself, dermal means the epidermis. Single layer of cells covering the entire body of a young plant. അപ്പോൾ ഡെർമൽ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ സ്കിൻ റിലേറ്റഡ് ആണെന്ന് ഹ്യൂമനെ കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ സ്കിൻ റിലേറ്റഡ് ആണ്. സോ യു ക്യാൻ റിലേറ്റഡ് ദ നെയിം യൂസിങ് ദോസ് വേർഡ്സ്. ആൻഡ് നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ ഈസ് വാസ്കുലർ ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റം. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ത്രൂ ഔട്ട് ദ പ്ലാന്റ് ബട്ട് അറേഞ്ച് ഡിഫറെൻ്റ്ലി ഇൻ ഈച്ച് ഓർഗൻ. Next is ground tissue systems, which is located between the dermal tissues and vascular tissue. So the plant cells are organized into three systems. First one is dermal tissue, vascular tissue and the ground tissue between dermal and vascular. Next, types of plant tissues. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem and phloem as mentioned above. Parenchyma is a plant tissue that is relatively unspecialized with thin, flexible primary walls. So the features are thin, flexible and primary walls. And these cells carry out most of the plant's metabolic functions. So we need to remember the 4 points, that is, it is thin, flexible and primary walls, and it carries out the plant's metabolic functions. So those are all about parenchyma. Next is collenchyma. The cells have unevenly thickened primary walls and provide support to the growing parts of the plants. So it is unevenly, not arranged in proper way. That is unevenly thickened primary walls. That is collenchyma, and it provides support to the growing parts of plants. So it is like a supporting system to the growing parts of plants. Next is sclerenchyma. Tissues are specialized for support. So in sclerenchyma, the tissues are arranged or maintained or working as a specialization for support. They have secondary walls. So the primary walls is for collenchyma and the secondary walls for, as the first letter mentions, S and S. Secondary walls hardened with lignin and may die. It lacks protoplast at functional maturity. The sclerites are irregularly shaped. Xylem. Tissues include tapered tracheids and vessel elements arranged end to end, forming vessels. Both cell types have secondary walls and die at functional maturity, as mentioned in sclerenchyma. In gymnosperms, tracheids have the dual function of water transport and structural support. Next is phloem. Phloem tissue is present in vascular plants. It helps in the transportation of food from leaves to other parts of plants. So these are defined in normal simple words, so we can easily understand it. Next is morphology of a flowering plant. Plant biologists study plant architecture at two levels, morphology and anatomy. So we can study the plant architecture in two types, that is morphology and anatomy. While plant morphology is a study of external structure, morphology is for external structure and anatomy is for internal system. And the next point, the basic morphology of plants reflects their evolutionary history as terrestrial organisms. And the overview of morphology is flowering plant means angiosperms. The overview is as mentioned below. The first point is plant body is divided into root system and shoot system connected by vascular tissues that is continuous throughout the plant. Just remember the bullet points like root system and shoot system, that is the division of plant body. The root system consists of a taproot and several lateral roots. The shoot system consists of stems, leaves and flowers. The blade, that is an expanded portion of a leaf, is attached to a system by a petiole. Petiole nodes, that is portion of the stem where the leaves are attached. So the words we have to note down is petiole, nodes and internodes. The nodes are separated by internodes. At the shoot's tip is the terminal bud. Okay, the terminal bud is the main growing point of the shoot. Auxiliary buds are located in the upper angles of leaves. Most of these auxiliary buds are dormant. Dormant means the sleeping stage, but they have the potential to develop into vegetative, that is leaf bearing branches or into flowers. So as it mentioned, they have the potential, most of the auxiliary buds have the potential or capability to develop into vegetative branches or flowers. Next, life cycle of a flowering plant. It begins when the seed germinates. The first point is seed germination. It progresses through the growth of roots, stems and leaves. When the seed germinates, it starts for the growing process of roots, stems and leaves and formation of flower buds, pollination and fertilization and seed and fruit development. Next, this point is about the beginning stage, and the termination stage or the ending stage is with senescence or old age and death. Plants called annuals carry out their life cycle within a year. Biennial plants live for 2 years and perennial plants live for more than a year. In biennial plants or biennial plants, as the name mentioned, bi means 2. In the first year they produce leaves and in second they produce flowers and fruits. Finally they die. So it is easy to understand. Next is perennial plants live for more than a year. Some perennials bloom every year, while others like agave live for years without flowering and then in a few weeks produce thousands of flowers, fruits and seeds before dying. So in the case of perennial plants, it lives for more than a year, as the name mentioned, and some perennial plants bloom or flowering process takes place every year. The example is agave. Okay, some or the rest few live for years without flowering or without any progress, and then within few weeks they started to produce thousands of flowers, fruits and seeds before they get died. Whatever the life cycle, most plants flower in response to certain cues. A number of factors influence the timing of flowering. That is not that much important. Next, the age of the plant is critical. Most plants must be at least 1 or 2 weeks old before they bloom. Presumably, they need this time to accumulate the energy reserves required for flowering. These are just the points we need to understand about the life cycle of a flowering plant. We usually know what will be the life cycle for an animal or a human, but most of the aspirants don't know about the life cycle of a flowering plant. So just these points are mentioning here just to understand how the life cycle will be. Next is the number of hours of darkness is another factor that influences flowering. Many species bloom only when the night is just at the right length. Those phenomena is called photoperiodism. Temperature, light intensity and moisture also affect the time of flowering. Next is the last topic of today's class is phloem and angiosperms. In most angiosperms, both vessel elements and tracheids conduct water and support is mainly provided by fiber cells. So in the case of angiosperms, that is, angiosperms are characterized by flowers, roots and evolutionary adaptations that function in reproduction. So in most angiosperms, vessel elements as well as tracheids conduct water. Okay, and the support is mainly provided by fiber cells. So the fiber cell is giving the supporting system to the vessel elements and tracheids. Phloem, the food conducting cells, is known as phloem, is sieve tube members arranged end to end with porous walls. Porous means the filtery thing, like the sieve plants between them. The cells are living at functional maturity but lack nuclei. So there will be no nuclei or lack of nuclei. Alongside all sieve tube members is a nucleated companion cell. Next, taxonomists split the angiosperms in two classes. One is monocots, next is diocots. Monocots means, as the name suggests, like mono means single, named for their single cotyledon, that is seed leaf, and dicots which have two cotyledons. Monocots and dicots have several other structural differences as well. Next topic is classification of root plants. We will see that in next video. Thank you.